Hi there, and welcome to the ATS podcast with me, Will Brown, and John Soulsby, where we break down chunks of health and fitness information into bite-sized pieces, remove a bunch of the noise, and just leave what's relevant. Today we are on episode number 49, and the topic of today is what kind of cardio is best?
Yeah, I think we all know what kind of cardio is the best cardio.
Hmm.
But apart from that, I suppose it's a classic. It depends on two fronts. But if you're training for something specific, then that has a cardio element. If you have a cardio that suits that, that will probably be better. And then the other one that I usually go for is depends what you enjoy. Because it's a bit like weight training. If there's a certain cardio that is theoretically perfect, but you absolutely hate it and will never do it, then it's pointless.
Yeah,
That's why I feel a lot of people enjoy HIIT style cardio, like high intensity interval training,
because it's
because
over quicker.
yeah, it's like you kind of hate cardio in all forms, and you're like, this is over in 20 to 30 minutes, whereas the other kind is like an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah, I think that the general vibe is that anything that distracts or minimizes the time spent actually cardioing
Yeah,
is the optimal. So like hit stuff, very intense stuff, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, is over reasonably quickly. It usually involves doing a bunch of different things because you can't maintain a high intensity of doing the same thing over and over again for long periods of time. That's just by default,
yeah,
like by definition, not a thing. So you're just going from station to station doing one thing very intensely for a short burst of time and then repeating that over various different things. Or
yeah.
you go
Unless you're at a
for,
Saturday cardio.
yeah, you go for walk slash cycles out in nature where there's lots of nice scenery that distracts from the fact you're in fact doing
Yeah,
exercise.
I think yeah, exactly. I think best cardio, um, if you're purely from like getting slightly healthier, doing some cardiovascular exercise, and it impacting you the least is like low intensity. So like walking, cycling, but like not letting your heart rate essentially get above 120 because it doesn't take your body much to recover from it. Um, and it doesn't like impact you day to day as much. The only downside is it takes hours
Yeah,
to get like meaningful benefits. Maybe not hours, that's unfair, depending on your state of like cardiovascular fitness, but it takes a long time.
yeah, it can build up to a lot. Like I
Yeah.
imagine it's the same with swimming. Like swimming was always historically where people did like people's volume tolerance is enormous because you're essentially unloaded, like
Yeah.
versus every other kind of cardio where you're having to deal with gravity. But when
Mm.
you're like positively buoyant, I can't remember how
Yeah.
that works in water, where like you will, for the most part, you will float unless you're Dave Goggins. Um,
Yeah.
you'll be kind of floating and you are unloaded. So like you weigh less than you do outside of the water. So your ability to just kind of swim about and not feel the impact as much in terms of fatigue is pretty good, which means you
Yeah.
could do loads of swimming.
Um, but yeah, so for most people, it's I would say just find one that you enjoy the most, or for some individuals, hate the least.
Yeah,
We have that's where something like so we do our Saturday for those that don't know. Every Saturday we do like a cardio class that's like kind of hit. Well, it is a hit class. Feel free to come down if you're in Edinburgh. But um, for some people, just the fact that they're doing it with other people in a community and it's over quickly because they hate it but know they need to do it. That's what they do.
oh yeah, misery loves company.
Yeah,
Drag a friend along with you
yeah.
or a dog.
Or a dog. He Cullen does love the side of
I was
cardio. He
about to say,
loves running
Cooler
around.
loves a bit of hit. He loves chasing people on shuttle
Yeah,
runs.
he was running around on short runs last week. And we go for coffee afterward. We get coffee at the gym afterwards. So
Hey,
something like that can be great because you get 20 to 30 minutes of really hard cardio in, which is really good for you.
mm-hmm.
And it's more enjoyable than doing it by yourself.
Yeah. Even that, like even on stuff like a thing, one weird way I kind of like to get stuff in is I will quite handily go for kind of longer walks for
Hmm.
essentially the same reason in that I don't mind doing like an hour of walking if it's gonna get me like number one, I could just plug in an audiobook or a podcast and just
Yeah.
wait like listen away the hour, but if people like again the classic analysis paralysis of I can walk anywhere, so where do I walk? It's like, well,
Yeah.
you can find lists of places to go walk that are great if you want to go further, not even further afield, but like if you want a scenario where you drive somewhere to then do an hour walk to then drive back because it's a bit out of the way. Or a classic that I like to do is pick a direction and literally walk half an hour in that direction and see where you end up and take any play like any turn, you're like, I have never gone down that street before. Go down there, apart from if it's a dead end, obviously, because then you'll be coming back. But like,
Yeah.
just take those turns where you're like, where does that street go? Blah blah blah. Like, head down it, find out, and then once you hit a half hour timer, just return, and that's you an hour, because you're half hour
Yeah.
out, half hour back. And if you want to walk at a brisker pace, like not the kind of walking pace you do when you're like walking around TK Maxx looking at stuff, like the kind of walking pace you do when it's Christmas shopping and you need to get to the shops because you've left it till December 24th. Like that kind of walk pace.
Yeah. Or one thing I do is I pick a coffee shop I want to go to,
Yeah, that's true, yeah. You get
and
something at the
then
end as well.
just do a wee either loop or like there and back.
Go to a fancy coffee shop, get fancy coffee.
And yeah, that's why I can't afford a house, is because I buy coffee. So
Classic. If only you didn't
absolute
if only
classic.
you didn't buy two cortados a week,
Yeah.
you'd know you'd have that 50 grand you need for a deposit on a house.
Um. Yeah.
Fucking boomers.
Can.
Uh, yeah, that's yeah. So best kind of cardio, the one you enjoy doing the most, or can find friends to do with. Anything that distracts you by either short duration or picturesque scenery,
Yep.
all good. I think everyone agrees that like a fairly fresh idea of hell is sitting on a rowing machine in a gym, watching a
Oh,
little digital screen tick up.
we've discussed this before, and like I don't get the biggest one is I don't get why people go into the gym to do a run. I'm like, what outside?
On a treadmill,
Like, wait,
which will not
like,
transfer
wait,
well to running on the street.
yeah, like, but like, just, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Neither do I.
I don't
Anyway,
understand.
we will catch you guys in the next one. Get your cardio in.
Bye.
It's important. Bye.